We got everything idiocracy. Okay, everything idiocracy predicted that came true. I never watched this movie before, but I think I've heard the name idiocracy sound. I was about to say familiar. That's not a word, bro. Familiar.
Idiocracy was a movie
This shit out, bro. Patrick CC, you know it's gonna be
you were never supposed to see. The production company and advertisers mocked in the script tried everything they could to blacklist the film, which makes you wonder, how can a movie that's so stupid be so harmful? Maybe because it got a little too close to the truth. Idiocracy shows a future society filled with people addicted to mind-numbing content and prawn, politics becoming a circus.
Oh shit. That's ironic as fuck that Terry Crews is on the screen, bro. Cause I recently found out this whole had a porn addiction. It's Terry Crews out of all people, bro. That's crazy.
Is one corporation taking over 50% of the economy, aggressive and dangerous policing, courtrooms that look more like live entertainment, cars that can be shut off by the government, and every inch of the world covered in advertising. Who would have thought that Mike Judge, creator
This is just
of Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill, would create a step-by-step guide to build the dystopian hellscape we are living in today. The film follows military librarian Joe Bauer, played by Luke Wilson. He's a man with absolutely no goals or ambitions and is happy spending every day sitting around and watching TV. But when General Collins needs subjects for a year-long cryogenic sleep test, Joe is selected specifically because he is remarkably average and doesn't have any family. Unable to find a woman willing to join him, the government
because he lonely as fuck.
Reaches out to a pimp named Upgrade to borrow his prostitute Rita as a
oh shit, damn, I don't know her name, but I see her in everywhere, bro. All the
model
and shit.
Female companion, but unfortunately
Grown Ups 3, bruh. I can't believe they're making a Grown Ups 3. I'm so fucking happy, bruh. Adam Sandler is one. He's genuinely one of the most underrated. He is hated for no reason except real shit, bruh. He just be having fun except doing his thing in his own lane, bruh. And also, I think it's gotten better. People are like nowadays realizing, bruh. But back in the day, always were hating on Adam Sandler for no reason.
After
He makes some of the best, like, just fun movies.
the cryosleep project is unexpectedly shut down by the government, Joe and Rita are forgotten in their sleep chambers and are buried in piles of garbage for the next 500 years. And over that time frame, society just kept making dumber and dumber decisions with a rapidly dropping average IQ. Scientists who were
That's such a crazy concept for a movie, bro.
initially researching the cause became distracted by the financial demand for hair loss cures and erectile dysfunction, which feels emblematic of today's obsession with looks maxing. We have extremely popular influencers like Clavicular, who makes more money than actual doctors by
I never got this looks maxing thing, bro. So you admitting you ugly as fuck, bro. You need to do all of this shit just to make yourself look better or have confidence in yourself, bro. Like, should make no sense to me, but I just if you do all of this dumb shit, just you're just exposing yourself as
coaching his followers to use experimental methods to reach their quote genetic potential, or Brian Johnson putting millions of dollars of research into de-aging his and just like Idiocracy, and putting millions of dollars of research in
if you're not having robust bonus at night, but then so if my dick don't get hard, I'm more likely to die prematurely. That's not good.
Into de-aging his and just
so you telling me being a wreck keeps me alive, sir? How the fuck
like Idiocracy, the growing demand for vanity procedures is skyrocketing. Getting a hair transplant used to be exclusively for the ultra-wealthy and celebrities. Now the number of procedures is growing exponentially.
Wait, what? Johnson? What do you mean? What is this like? It's not how much it costs. There's no way it costs $9 for fucking hair transplant. Market size. Oh, USD billion, 9 billion. $55 billion.
Eventually, with the market size expecting to reach over $50 billion in 10 years, meaning some of the greatest scientific minds of our generation who could have been working
we're not working on nothing to explore the sea, nothing to advance the future of the human race. Niggas talking about fucking head transplants. This shit's so crazy, bruh. Like, humans are so blessed with intelligence, but so fucking dumb with it. It doesn't make sense, like, we're so smart and dumb at the same time.
on a cure for cancer, Alzheimer's, ALS, Parkinson's, or dementia might instead end up chasing the next breakthrough in hair restoration, because that's where the money's at. But when Joe Bauer is released from cryosleep after the Great Garbage Avalanche of 2505, the first person he meets is Fredo Pandeo, played by Dax Shepard.
Wait, I don't use the right shit to put this. Yeah.
And he's essentially the living embodiment of everything that's gone wrong with humanity. Fredo's name literally translates to stupid bag of chips. He sits in a massive lazy boy chair drinking some mysterious liquid through a straw about a foot away from a massive screen filled
Mysterious liquid through a straw? The fuck they
with
mean
a
by
dozen
that?
windows of content, with the largest one playing a show called Ow, My Balls, where a guy just repeatedly gets hit in the nuts. The chair even has a toilet built in it so he never has to get up.
That's one of them shows you'll find on like the Rick and Morty interdimensional cable. Like,
And while some people literally have these exact
what the fuck is this? Hell no, bruh. You doing too much.
multi-screen
Doing
setups
way
with
too much.
chairs that don't even require them to move their
What game is that? Better not be League of Legends, bruh. If the soul is a, I don't wanna know what the soul gets up to in the setup.
head.
etc.
Fredo's stream of content feels eerily similar to XQC live streaming to tens of thousands of viewers.
What the fuck? Ain't no way this is real fucking. Like, there's gotta be
Playing
edited.
Subway Surfers, an already hypnotic game, while displaying 5 different videos, all with audio, and blasting electronic music on top of that to ensure the viewer's dopamine is spiked for hours.
What the hell's he doing?
He's crushing it. News bomb!
And although this is
Look, bruh, I won't lie. I don't fuck with that XUC. I think he a bitch, but that shit funny, bruh. Yeah, he has some funny moments.
isn't
I won't
something
lie to you.
XQC regularly does, the demand for us to constantly be entertained by screens has reached all-time highs. Pew Research estimates that the typical home already has an average of 17 screens.
Nigga, what? 17? What do you mean 17? Oh, screen. So it doesn't have to be like a device. No, it is devices, because obviously a device will have a screen. That shit crazy, boy.
To put it in
17.
perspective, the number of household devices was 8 in 2015. That number has more than doubled in a decade. And as a result, the average American spends 7 hours per day looking at a screen, meaning people, on average, spend more time looking at screens than they do sleeping. But when Fredo isn't watching mindless content, he's
What?
trying to get his
Hold on.
rocks off.
Go away, Baton!
Idiocracy might actually have a less emphasis on sexuality.
How the fuck you spend more time on the screen than, unless you, yeah, boy, I won't lie to you, offers jobs, definitely is looking at the screen more time than sleeping, boy. Call center job, yep. Yeah,
Than the
I can
present
see
day.
that.
Adult content exists now on 12% of all websites and is viewed by approximately 69% of American men and
Nah, that's actually crazy that it worked out like that, bro, with a percentage. 12% on all websites.
40% of
12% off
American
all
women in
websites.
any given year. The industry is estimated to generate over $100 billion, with
Shit.
OF being one of the major contributors to that statistic. It's inescapable. Even 2 OnlyFans girls bought tickets to the NBA Western Conference Finals, sat right behind the coach, so anytime he was on the screen, it was showing their chest, which I will
Oh, that's Loki is smart, but that shit's degenerate as fuck, bro. But that shit, like, if it was any other thing, that marketing would be crazy, but like any like normal YouTube or like music or something. But the fact that it's OnlyFans, that shit, what makes it fucking
It is
up.
smart
Yeah,
marketing,
crazy.
but it's just an example of how content that was once in dark corners of the internet or magazines that were in the back of the store now regularly intersects with mainstream entertainment. So when watching the film, a majority of people would laugh at Frito's situation. He's a hilarious character, but the irony is that a lot of people are slowly becoming him. They watch mind-numbing entertainment, but the irony is
what is this, bruh? What even is this? Except this is not editing. This is not. This should look just like a bunch of fucking. Like you telling me like, you couldn't put that? What the fuck is going on in this screen? Except nah, bruh, you doing way too much. Except you got 2 games open and it's not even. It's just even a game. I don't know.
is that a lot of people
This should look like production though. If this is production, make kind of more sense. But you're doing way too much.
are
bruh.
slowly becoming him. They watch mind-numbing entertainment designed to help them forget about their lives and responsibilities while being guided by a cursed algorithm to aggressively self-satisfy instead of focusing on achieving higher goals. In Idiocracy, hyper-consumerism has taken over the world. Advertising has become so deeply integrated into society that many people have stopped distinguishing between what is an ad and what isn't. Most people have literal brands as a part of their names like Mountain Dew, Frito, and BMW. The city-sized Costco is so large that people
What?
basically live inside of it. And
What the fuck? Yo, hold
BMW,
on.
the city-sized
Yo, this movie might be crazy. I might need to watch this movie, but obviously this shit's gonna get spoiled in this video. But this shit look
Costco
fire.
is so large that people basically live inside of it and use a train to get to different locations to constantly buy more things. When Joe
What?
enters the building for the first time, Frito
Yo, nah, this shit crazy. This shit look like you can tell it's green screen, though, bruh. But this shit, I'ma leave that up to the
admits
time
that he got
came
his
out.
law degree from Costco and it's considered prestigious.
Or
even
like a
the
low
single-use-
budget. What's the budget for this thing? Idiocracy movie budget. 2.4 million. Yo, that makes sense. What it should look like a green screen. That's actually crazy how much money they made of that. Oh, wait, what? Production. Damn, they lost spend money from this thing, bruh. They didn't make fuck all. They lost 2 million on this project. I thought this was like a popular movie.
Shirts and pants that everyone in Idiocracy wears every day to avoid washing clothes have brands on them like they're about to race on a NASCAR track. And while it looks bold and stupid in Idiocracy, if you were born after 1995, odds
The irony, but they should have got the bands to pay or like, you know what I'm saying, get sponsored. It would have been ironic.
are
as
you've
fuck,
never
though,
spent a
bruh.
day ad-free in your entire life. At present, people see roughly 5,000 ads per day. There are 5.3 trillion display ads showed online every year. On average, children see 20,000 30-second commercials each year. Adults see an average of 2 million of those on a yearly basis. When Joe is thrown out of Frito's apartment, he still can't fully believe what he's seeing. He's stumbling over trash and attempting to seek help from people, but all anyone can do is mock him for speaking intelligently, which, keep in mind, he's just speaking normally.
Joe was able to understand them, but when he spoke in an ordinary voice, he sounded pompous and to them.
He convinces himself he's hallucinating from the hibernation drugs and makes his way to St. God's Memorial Hospital. And yet when he gets there, the place looks more like a sketchy
This a hospital,
fast
bruh.
food restaurant on the edge of Las Vegas with slot machines, failing technology, and covered in grime. Slot machines at the hospital feels like the modern equivalent of sports betting apps. Gambling used to require an actual trip to a casino. Today, it lives in your pocket. You can literally place wagers from anywhere in the world, and I'd imagine that people do it in hospitals.
Hey, bruh. I won't lie, I'm proud of myself. I haven't bet on a single World Cup game so far. Like, I think that's an achievement, bruh, considering Like I used to be doing that shit for all the Premier League every week. Like not obviously not some crazy shit. Like I put a little 50 here and there.
Little
but,
waiting
you know what I'm
rooms or
saying?
doctor's offices. When Joe gets the chance to describe his
Just for like fun. But I won't lie. I'm just realizing I haven't bet since I got traumatized, etc. I remember I was with my bras. I was there. We were smoking. I put the bets in to best way, bruh. I clicked all of the things. Win, draw. You know what I'm saying? For all the Premier League, there was like 7 games going on. 50 rand. I was gonna win 4,000. I didn't click bets. All of it hit. Every single one that I clicked the decision, it hit, boy. I haven't bet
symptoms to the
since.
nurse, she just stares blankly and holds her finger over a number of stick figures on colored buttons, which looks like a kid's toy that teaches toddlers to recognize colors and shapes, or like a modern fast food menu that allows you to simply touch the picture of the food you want. In Idiocracy, the healthcare system was so desperate to make things easier that every interaction is now automated. From the front desk to sharing information with the primary care physician, everything is so ridiculously simplified that
Ebola. They did a fusion. They combined E. coli and Ebola. Oh, would it be Ebola and E. coli? Yeah. They combined it. Just gas. What?
a
Wait, what
child
is
can
this?
do it. And while today we're not quite pushing cartoonish buttons yet, this doesn't mean that hospitals and medical professionals are immune to cutting corners. There are now surveys reporting that some doctors are turning to AI tools intended for non-clinical uses to make clinical decisions. It's also the first time we see that this alternate future
That
doesn't
shit's so
prioritize drinking
crazy,
water.
bruh. Like out of all the industry, like it's not like they use me to do research or some shit. They use me to diagnose, bruh. That shit, my nigga, I could do that, bruh. I could have just done that at home.
Which
you
is
know what I'm
honestly
saying? You telling me, I can pay for a higher version of ChatGPT and get a better answer than
most
than what
insane
you
part of
give
the
me.
movie. Drink water. Instead, the water fountains dispense a sports drink called Brondo, which is basically just a parody of Gatorade. And when Joe asks the medical staff for actual water, they just laugh at him and wonder why he wants to drink the stuff that goes into the toilet. Brondo is touted as this magic solution to everything because it, quote, has electrolytes.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
That is so crazy, eh? Was what the fuck? Prime. I remember that was Prime's whole marketing, eh? I won't lie. Prime, I only tried it once. That shit is fucking ass, bro. That shit was one of the worst drinks I've ever tasted, but I couldn't finish it. I won't lie, that shit
Got
was
electrolytes.
balls. Tasting
And
like balls. Not that I would, not that.
Electrolytes just so happen to be one of the buzzwords Logan Paul and Mr. Beast
I just said
repeatedly
that word.
use when marketing Prime and Lunchly as healthier alternatives.
More electrolytes. Lunchables, yes. Hundreds of millions of units.
Electrolytes. That's all they tuned about. That's electrolytes. I've never heard of that word. I've never heard that word being used more than those two, bruh. Those who overuse those
Their
words, that word,
product, 80 less calories, 60% less sugar, more
more
electrolytes. So they're advertising that more electrolytes are good. And that is the fundamental problem here, and the lack of misunderstanding with electrolytes and hydration that has frankly gotten out of control with just this electrolyte hydration beverage market.
Another small detail in the film is that at one point, Joe is standing in a room with wallpaper made entirely out of dollar bills, which is symbolic of the currency becoming so worthless that it's more useful as decoration than actual money. While we're obviously
The dollar ain't gonna. But I don't get, like, y'all worried about the dollar and shit, bruh. This shit is always gonna be what more than 90% of currencies around the world.
nowhere near that point, Americans have watched the
Like, all that shit now. $1 is still 16 rand, bruh. Like, that shit's still crazy.
Purchasing power of the dollar declined noticeably in recent years. Since 2020 alone, consumer prices have increased by roughly 25%, meaning what cost $100 just a few years ago now costs about $125. Put another way, a dollar today buys you only about 80% of what it did at the start of the decade. All it takes is a few major economic mistakes and we'll be decorating our walls with
Ironic, cause in South Africa, a dollar, from when I was born, it was 10 rand for $1. Now it's like 16 rand. It was like, at one point it was 20. So you could buy more with $1 than you could back then. You know,
worthless money. One of the more subtle, dark realities in Idiocracy was that everyone on Earth has a barcode tattoo for transactions, identification, and to digitally track where they are at all times. Without one, Joe is labeled as unscannable and immediately becomes a wanted man, running around a collapsing civilization suffering from a deadly drought that's killed all the crops and a devastated economy with a hyperinflated currency. The stupidity of it all is really funny, but it's hard to not notice how close we are to similar circumstances. For example, payment implants are already being widely considered by countries.
Hell no. Hell fucking no. You telling me this was already exploiting everyone for money and now they want to put something in you? So if you don't get exploited for money, like, you will get shut off from everything. Fuck no. Whoever does this, bro, got too much trust in, just like humans in general. I'm not even gonna say the government, bro. I'm gonna say humans in general, bro. Because yeah, bro. If this is not for like survival, like actual survival, like there are toxin in the air, and you be like, the only way is to breed is through this chip. If it's not that, but never in
all over the world. According to BBC, a 2021 survey of more than 4,000 people across the UK and the European Union found that 51% would consider it. It doesn't take
What? 51% of people are don't accept national selection. They let them go, let them fight, get it. Let them get
a genius to see how this could become a massive security issue for everyone. One day the chip implant is for our convenience, and the next it's telling us we can't leave our city after an unpaid parking ticket. Plus, our phones are already acting as a version of the barcode system anyways. It's arguably worse. It knows where we are, where
Apple wallets, maps, microphone, boy. Those three things, I said things what in Kayanik. Say, I think I'm Dave, think of Central C, bro. Those three things. They got, your whole life, or basically, can be
we have been, who we talk to, what we are talking about, what we buy, what we search for, and what we are interested in. The difference is, the citizens of Idiocracy were forced to carry a tracking device. We buy ours for more than $1,000 and upgrade it constantly to make it easier and more efficient for it to control us. But where Idiocracy really starts to feel unsettling is its portrayal of government, because
that's it. Oh, that's his point, though. That we choose.
It was supposed to be a completely absurd exaggeration of what a dysfunctional society might look like, and yet, a lot of it feels not that far from reality. After running around the city and learning more about the imminent collapse of human civilization, Joe Bauer is taken to trial to face the crime of being unscannable. The police are like cavemen in riot gear, and they pepper spray Joe while being completely detained and not a threat to them whatsoever. It only gets more ridiculous when he's placed in a large human-sized cage before being thrown into a courtroom, only for his defense attorney to be
that nigga is literally in the fucking cage, bro. They put him in a literal cage. That's crazy.
Human-sized cage before being thrown into a courtroom, only for his defense attorney to be Frito Pandeo. The courtroom is not filled with respectful spectators, but more like a manic mob of sports fans tuning in for some drama. One of them has a large bike helmet with a camera mounted on, recording his point of view, which is essentially the modern equivalent of Meta Ray-Bans. The judge has a spotlight pointed on him as if it's one
is that Wolverine, what the fuck?
Big theatrical event, and his name is the Honorable.
Yo, bruh, that Wolverine game looks so fire. I need to get money, boy. I want some real shit to get that PS5. I need the GTA 5 and Wolverine, bruh.
Well, Hector, the hangman, and Joe's essentially believed to be guilty before he's able to state his case. Any effort to speak clearly is seen as a sign of weakness, and everyone cheers when he's sentenced to prison without a second thought. And again, while this seems like an exaggeration, it's not like we haven't struggled with a very similar problem. The first example would be court-appointed public defenders like Frito. They're obviously not as dumb as him, but their salaries are determined by county judges. They're less incentivized to take your calls.
What the? I got haunted, my PC just got haunted by the ghost of fucking Swampy Zorix. How did this home found a way to make it into this video, bruh? I don't know it.
And they rarely have a voice in court due to being overbooked and underprepared. As far as the angry mob of spectators looking for entertainment in the movie, they might have been satisfied with the real-life fight that took place between a public defender and a judge in Brevard County, Florida.
Stop pissing me off. Just sit down. I'll take care of it. I don't need your help.
No, you know what? I'm the public defender. I have a right to be here, and I have a right to stand here and represent my clients.
He just got pissed. He just got pissed. Did he leave or did he draw out the case, bruh? I swear he was just popping off on everyone except someone ruined this whole day, bruh.
If you want to fight, let's go out back and...
He woke up wrong. Something happened in the morning before he came. He got stuck in... No, I thought he was gonna run over like the one video of the old running and fucking tackling the judge. Oh, this is the one where he said, let's go outside and fight, 6.
But the people in Idiocracy
actually went and beats his ass, boy. You know,
are not the only ones looking for a show in the courtroom. Televised trials are a perfect example of how our justice system has slowly become a form of entertainment, but it comes with major issues. According to courtroom science observers, the challenge for trial attorneys is identifying potential jurors who hold these hidden...
Imagine getting your ass beat and then you go back into the courtroom and you lose the fucking trial. That shit is so crazy, boy.
Biases. Jurors may
be
inclined to hide biases, particularly ones that they feel are less socially acceptable. When asked difficult or sensitive questions, jurors may try to deliver answers that make them sound better, offering half-truths if they know their full opinion may reflect poorly on them. Simply put, televised trials prevent the jury from doing their only job: find the truth. A juror shouldn't be concerned with how their opinions might be perceived by people watching at home. They're supposed to evaluate the facts and follow the evidence wherever it leads. But since Joe was a moderately intelligent guy surrounded by dumbasses, he escapes from prison just by telling the guards that he's supposed to be leaving prison and not entering it, and they let him turn around and walk out. When he gets in the...
No, bro, this I need to go watch this movie. This movie see like some, literally like some Adam Sandler shit, some fun shit, just to turn off your brain and just watch, enjoy, you know what I'm saying?
Car with Frito, the AI in the car is triggered for trafficking a fugitive on their journey to Costco. They lose control of the car, it guides itself to the side of the road and shuts down, and gives the violent...
Bro, looking at Mbappe with the national anthem playing, bro, it's like the dictator is feeling the
and unhinged police officers their exact location. And if you think this is some Black Mirror moment that could never happen, think again, because a congressional bill was passed that will essentially allow government access to your car starting in 2020.
Hell no. America is so fun. America is just like that should actually becoming a dystopia, like the whole society as a whole, bro, is just like so in their bubble, it's crazy. It's actually a bit sad.
7.
The trigger for all of this sits inside the 2021, all the way back to 2021, Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Buried in Section 24220 is a mandate that forces the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to require advanced impairment driving technology. I love it. That's how they hide it. In your car that's sold to you here in America, that phrase sounds harmless on purpose. Here's what's coming. Cameras locked on your face, sensors tracking your eyes,
Fuck,
software
bro. Can't even get freaky in the car, They're gonna be recording you. Like, that shit is like, boy, what's the point of even, like, that's not living anymore, you want to stream 24/7, might as well become Kaiser Nats at that point, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Might as well make some money off of that shit, bruh. That shit is so ass.
analyzing your behavior, your attention, even your emotional state. The system doesn't just look for alcohol impairment, it looks for anything it interprets as a
I can't go nowhere in a bus,
risk. Are you tired, distracted, stressed? That's enough for the system to decide you aren't fit to drive.
Joe gets tracked down by the police, but instead of
I can't smoke in the car. It's not gonna allow me. You will see me lighting up a blind. The whole thing will shut off. Nah, you got me fucked up. Hell no, boy. Never in your life would you catch me in I'm going 6'4" Impala before I get a new car.
going directly back to jail, he's actually brought to the Oval Office of the White House. His IQ results came back, and in Idiocracy, him having an average IQ in the past makes him a complete genius in the dystopian future. So they hired him to solve a major problem. He needed to figure out why none of the crops were growing, as the whole world was running out of organic and natural nutritional food. However, when they get to the White House, it looks more like a dilapidated mansion in the hood rather than the highest office in the land. The Secretary of State is like a parody of a modern influencer. He promotes Carl's Jr. even in his private conversations because he claims they pay him to do it.
Says who?
The IQ test you took in prison. You got the highest score in history. Roy.
Damn, you got him with the
Brought to you by Carl's
copyright.
Jr. I'm the Secretary of State. Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because they pay me every time I do.
But in the White House is where Terry Crews steals the show. As former pro wrestler and 5-time Ultimate SmackDown champion, President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew
This could be a parody of so many things. It could be obviously The Rock, and then isn't Schwarzenegger fucking ran for governor or something there in one of the states in
Camacho.
America.
He's a charismatic ex-adult film star and entertainer. He's not afraid to support violence and tap into humanity's dumbest instincts to get exactly what he wants. He's also not afraid to hire dumber members of his family, like his stepbrother, who is a complete idiot yet is the official Secretary of Education. Listening to how Crews describes this character, you can tell that this silly role was still something he was deeply passionate about.
I knew this guy. When I tell you, I knew President Camacho because he reminded me of my time of growing up in Flint, Michigan, in church, where you had a pastor or a preacher who you knew.
Wasn't Flint, Michigan on that Ash Elk video, bruh? Or the GD1 video? With the most racist town in America or some shit. This motherfucker from there.
You knew was a
That's
hustler.
crazy.
You knew he wasn't telling you the truth. If you just put $5 in the box, $5 will get you what you want. And I was like, that's the guy. He's fooling America.
It's honestly impossible to ignore the similarities between President Camacho and President Trump, especially considering that Trump himself has entered the WWE for self-promotion long before getting elected.
Yo, this is really America's president. 2 times, by the way, 2 times.
Camacho speaks in very basic sentences and simplifies massive problems with short, easy solutions, which is exactly like Trump.
I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately.
Oh shit, so I was right. I did say Trump.
We're going to bring those prices way down. A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper. Groceries, cars.
The exact opposite thing happened, bruh. I wonder how everyone feels now, bruh, about this all. Because I remember this, who had so much support, and then he did fuck all. And I wonder how people feel now, bro.
Now everything. We're gonna get the prices down.
I know barren with all that starving bull and the dust storms, and we running out of French fries and burrito coverings. Yeah. But I got a solution. I got a 3-point plan to fix everything. Number one, we got this guy not sure. Number two, he's got a higher IQ than any man alive. And number three, he's gonna fix everything.
Just like Camacho, Trump's promises sound like someone who is either lying
I thought that I was gonna say let's start a war or some shit, bruh.
or doesn't understand how much power corporations and bureaucracy have over what we hope to change. Another thing Idiocracy displays is Camacho turning his speech into pure entertainment to hype up the crowd instead of clearly explaining his plans for change. And at this point, American politics spend more time blasting music, dancing, and chanting positive affirmations to a roaring audience.
Politics, the whole of politics, every single side except don't. They are all fake. I don't give a fuck what you try to tell me, except they are all fake. They all push their own shit, their own agendas, except they gotta be on this side, all the food, this side, that side, all the sides. Shut up, bruh. All politicians are like the lowest life forms of humans, bruh. I will die on this hill, except politics is all fake. They don't talk about real issues, real problems. They all want to be right at the end of the day. That's what they'll do, anything and say anything to be right, you know what I'm saying, and to get people to believe what they want to believe. It's all fake.
Rather than having thoughtful discussions on how it's actually going to get done. When Joe is appointed as the Secretary of the Interior, he quickly discovers that the entire world has been brainwashed into believing that every living thing requires Brawndo, the thirst mutilator. The sports drink with electrolytes is believed to be so essential that they've replaced it with water to put on their crops. The company supports 50% of the global economy and is the direct cause of the failing crops because it has created a layer of salt on top of all the vital farmland, which is a perfect metaphor for what happens when corporations become so large and influential that their financial interests begin to outweigh basic common sense. Nobody stops to ask whether or not pouring the sports drink on the crops is actually working because too many people are making money from the system. Kind of reminds me of how AI data centers are draining us of fresh water at an alarming rate and how nobody is stopping to
for what's the point, there? For O's to use the thing for like not even like useful purposes like research or medical work, or you know what I'm saying, or like actual uses for AI. Motherfuckers are making Streamer University AI posters, etc. Those are taking the water for AI posters and AI videos, etc. You know how crazy that is,
think
but
of what will happen when we have no more water to drink. It's not hard to imagine that corporations, or one corporation, will lead to the downfall of society. What's ironic is, corporations are also the reason why this film was considered a complete failure, and that's because the creator, Mike Judge, specifically wanted to poke fun of real brands that people recognize. The designer who created this dystopian, ad-flooded environment...
Oh, I can see they probably got sued by someone.
Ellen
Yeah.
Lampole said, I think so many people see that it wasn't done in any kind of malintent except for just to make an overall statement about we are really directed by advertising and how it impacts our life, and we become part of advertising. We help perpetuate the marketing. But what made Idiocracy so funny and immersive was that it satirized real brands. Starbucks, H&R Block, Carl's Jr., and Costco are all made fun of in the film. But initially, Mike's production partner, 20th Century Fox, was legally concerned about the ramifications of using actual brands to make fun of. For example, he wanted to satirize tanning salons in America that were secretly offering happy endings to customers. So he made a joke about how Starbucks coffee now offered extra foam to men willing to pay a...
That's crazy, boy. Starbucks.
We had that in the script, and when it was in pre-production, I was, they run it by legal. I don't know how I'm going to come up with something better than the Starbucks thing, because it's not funny if it's not a known place, and so legal. An interesting thing happened. I don't know how this happened, but they said, they said no, and then they said, well, I just said, so what can it be satire? And And they said, well, what would help us is if you didn't just pick on them, if it was a bunch of companies. I was like, okay. So that's how we ended up with that whole red light district in there in the movie, where it's like, I think it's like H&R Block, adult tax return with release, and like there's like a Pollo Loco or Pollo Borracho adult chicken. I don't know. And then we just did everything.
Unsurprisingly, all of the corporate brands that signed up
The
for
fuck
what
is
they
Pollo
thought
Loco?
was easy.
Yo, America is having so many random brands, not brands, restaurants. When I go to America one day, I'm trying every single one, bro. I need to see what the hype is about, bro.
Advertising in a new movie were extremely upset when they found out that the entire film was making fun of them, and as a result, it basically destroyed the film. According to Mike Judge, Fox's enthusiasm for the movie mysteriously disappeared, and it was one of the most under-financed projects he ever made. It was an impossible schedule, an impossible budget. Every day, it seemed, was at least 16 hours. It was rough. I didn't want to be irresponsible and demand more money than the thing was probably worth. There was one meeting where we were arguing over a shot that cost $3,000 or something like that, and at some point I said, I'll just pay for it. I'd rather pay $30,000 than ever have this meeting again. Terry Crews later
Nigga, you got too much money. What the fuck are you talking about, bruh?
admitted that making fun of the brands is what killed the movie at the box office, because Fox was too scared of pissing off their advertisers.
Because we use real corporations in our comedy, these companies gave us their name thinking they were going to get pumped up. All these real corporations are like, wait a minute, Carl's Jr.
Welcome to Carl's Jr. Would you like to try our...
Also, they did have, like, they did kind of get paid for having the brands there, but then they got blackballed for having their brands there. That shit kind of, yeah, that's fucked.
And so Fox, who owned the movies, decided we're going to release this in as few theaters as legally possible. So it got a release in probably 3 theaters over one weekend, and it was sucked out into the vortex.
Sadly, Mike Judge hoped for a $30 million budget, but he only got $2.4 million, and with brief appearances and a small number of
Damn, they really, like, think this movie, they fucking Washington Wizards this movie, except like crazy, boy. From production to not put, that's so fucked, except all of these also works on the movie just for these people who own the movie to say, nah, we don't want to damage our brand relationships, so we're gonna fuck everything over and don't put it in like one theater and shit.
Select theaters
That's
and
fucked.
little to no publicity, it turned into a guaranteed flop, only earning $500,000 at the worldwide box office. But this is where things get really interesting. Although corporations seemed to do everything they could to get the movie blacklisted, Idiocracy became a cult classic, making almost $10 million in DVD VHS rentals and...
Oh, damn, so it is like, yeah, it does got a fan base, bro. Like one of them ones that's, yeah, one of them cult
sales
classics.
within the first year of its...
I was wondering because I heard this name before. That's why I was so surprised seeing it made so little, because I've heard this name before,
released in
bro.
2006, and it only continues to get more and more popular with each passing year because it's so damn close to our modern reality that a dumb comedy looks more like a prophecy. What's funny and scary is that during the filming of one very specific scene, Mike Judge realized he may have not been making a prediction about the future at all. He may have just been exaggerating a reality that already existed. In the scene where Joe runs from the hospital near the beginning of Idiocracy, he finds a movie theater that is showing a film called At. It's a 90-minute recording of a man's butt. Occasionally there's a fart or a little movement, and the people watching are in...
That's straight out of Rick and Morty, Family Guy. So tell me, bro, that's not like a cutaway gag or some
the
shit.
entire time and find it so funny that it gets several Oscars, including Best Screenplay. But here's the scary part. When Mike Judge and director of photography Tim Surstedt set up the movies and invited 200 extras to the screening, the assumption was that this was so simple and stupid that they would have to actually tell everyone to laugh on cue. Mike said, "We actually had to shoot the At movie, which wasn't fun. They just sent Polaroids to casting killing people. I should apologize to them for having to do that. But according to Tim, we literally found a theater a little bit south of Austin in a suburb, and we had the film of the guys that was cinched up on their projector, and we had probably 200 extras in there. We rolled the footage and everybody started laughing, exactly as they say in the script. They thought that with something this dumb, they'd actually have to tell the audience to laugh, but it turns out they just actually broke out in laughter while watching a film called Act. Judge told an interviewer, I remember saying to Tim, what are we doing? We should just release Act.
Humans are fucking... Yo, what the fuck? That's just so stupid, bro. But I would be one of them ones laugh, you think that. That's just so dumb you have to laugh, bro.
In order to prevent our impending doom, we'd have to fight our own nature or selfish desires. We'd have to stop demanding maximum convenience. We'd have to be okay with being bored. We'd have to fight the urge to boost our dopamine with constant content and unhealthy foods. We'd have to embrace the suffering that makes life a little bit harder because we learned that corporations will swoop in and sell us the fastest and most addicting solution. But the sad reality is that we'd all have to do it together in order to make that change happen. Most people will choose short-term comfort over long-term well-being, which is why we are likely going to get to idiocracy sooner than we thought. Mike Judge thinks we are already there. As he stated after the movie's success, I'm no prophet.
Yo, I don't know how I'm gonna make it to the end of this game, bro. I'm falling asleep. I had to fucking walk around, but just to like
is off by 490 years. And if watching societies collapse is your thing, people today are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, we watched that. That shit was a banger too. Fire, bro. As always, bro. The soul has perfected these type of videos. Patrick CC. Literally, these videos, he's perfected it. Yeah, shout out to him.